1,000 miles. From Yukon to Alaska, 11 checkpoints. 26 mushers. 364 sled dogs. Minus 40 degrees. A race against time. Only one winner. Mushers conquering the Yukon Quest, the most extreme race in the world. In the last episode, we saw the harsh conditions take its toll on mushers and dogs. Many teams have made it to Dawson City, where they'll take a well-deserved 24-hour layover. Mushers can rest while their handlers care for the dogs. Brent Sass arrived in Eagle, Alaska in first position. Day 6 at 11:09, Nicolas Vanier and his team arrive in Dawson City in 16th position.
Excellent. La première chose que tu as envie de faire ici à Dawson?
Manger un énorme hamburger. J'ai faim, mais c'est pas possible.
Vous êtes heureux de revenir sur Dawson?
Ah oui, très ému parce que il s'est passé beaucoup de choses ici et c'est pour ça que je voulais absolument arriver jusque-là. Et quand ça a commencé à mal aller à Carmax, à Pelly Crossing, je me suis dit j'arriverai pas et donc c'est pour ça en plus que je suis heureux parce que j'étais pas sûr de pouvoir y arriver.
For Nicolas, reaching Dawson City is somewhat symbolic. This is the third time he has run the Yukon Quest, but it's the first time he's made it this far.
Là, j'espère qu'on va essayer en tout cas d'aller jusqu'au bout.
Nicolas Vanier had to drop 4 dogs in Carmax. That made King Solomon's Dome very difficult to climb.
Je pensais pas devoir me séparer aussi vite des chiens. C'est vrai que le froid extrême a compliqué les choses. C'est dur, mais voilà, on est là. Et puis maintenant, faut penser à la suite.
Eagle, Alaska is the 5th checkpoint on the trail. In winter, access is limited to snowmobiles, dog sleds, or charter aircraft. Race officials, veterinarians, and drop dogs all travel by plane. The handlers must skip Eagle and travel 24 hours around the Alaska Highway. They'll meet the mushers in Circle City, the 6th checkpoint.
On fait demi-tour, il reconduit jusqu'à Whitehorse, 6 heures de temps. Conduire jusqu'à Fairbanks, 10 à 12 heures. Conduire jusqu'à Circle, de l'autre côté, qui est à peu près un autre 6 heures.
Kristen Knight Pace arrives in Dawson City at 12:45 p.m. She's in 17th position, ahead of Rob Cook and Magnus Kaltenborn, who has scratched.
Well, my handler, Mandy, who was the only woman to run the race last year, said that there is something every day, something different every single day that you have to overcome. And she's been totally right so far, like whether it's the jumble ice one day or today, I have, as you can see, a bunch of really big male dogs and like tiny little females, and one of those tiny little females went into heat today and just totally collapsed my whole dog team. And I had to put like every single leader I had up there to see if somebody would go forward instead of looking back at her. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. So it took me like 9 hours to do this run today.
Despite all her difficulties, Kristen still has 14 dogs. Alan Moore reaches Eagle at 10:55 p.m. in 2nd position, but Brent Sass left an hour earlier. Bob Daff has a warning about the trail ahead.
Jambalaya. C'est tout ce qu'il y avait entre Slaven et Circle. Ça nous a pris énormément de temps. 9 heures sur la piste et puis toute la journée sans arrêt. Et finalement, on est arrivé ici ce soir.
By the start of day 7, most mushers have left Dawson City. Hugh Neff reaches Eagle at 5:32 a.m. in third position. He'll drop another dog that will have to be flown out. His team is reduced to 8. Yor Ulsum hits Eagle at 8:05 a.m. He had a tough journey, and he'll take the next 6 hours to think about his race. Normand arrives in Eagle at 10:52 p.m. in 6th position. Mushers are not exempt from clearing customs when they cross the border. A U.S. Customs officer is stationed in Eagle especially for the race. The weather between Dawson City and Eagle is getting warmer. That creates more overflow and wet conditions. Normand takes the time to dry his clothes. Day 8 at 4:48 a.m., Brent Sass reaches Circle City, another small town with 100 inhabitants. Brent has a comfortable 10-hour lead over his closest rival, Alan Moore. After 6 hours in Eagle, Normand decides to rest a little bit longer.
J'ai décidé de rester 4 heures de plus. Je veux dire, il fait chaud. Mes chiens ont besoin d'un repos, puis mon but, c'est de finir. Hein. Regarde, il y a encore une autre bonne équipe qui vient d'abandonner. Donc, rien n'est fini. Il faut continuer. Je vais avoir 2 gros campings à faire. Pour moi, gagner la médaille d'or, ça va être de me rendre à Fairbanks. C'est ça mon but. J'ai 150 000 à faire. Là. Après ça, ben, faut pas oublier Eagle Summit. Ça me tente pas d'arriver à Eagle Summit avec une équipe qui a plus de pouvoir pour monter cette grosse côte-là. Ça fait comme... On va prendre ça bien relax, les boys.
Cody Strath and Yor Ulsum both decide to scratch in Eagle. They'll share the expense of a charter flight for their dogs. For safety, the dogs are put into bags, which help them stay calm.
Dans un sac, on peut voir tout, mais on ne bouge pas trop. Et il y a des vétérinaires et les autres dans l'avion. On met un chien sur les genoux et le chien regarde tout ce qui se passe.
11 a.m. on day 8. It's been exactly 1 week since the start of the Yukon quest. The leader, Brent Sass, leaves Circle City before his nearest rival even checks in. But the race is far from over. Ten out of 26 teams have scratched from the most extreme sled dog race in the world. Jason Campeau arrives in Eagle at 12:10 p.m. After serving a 6-hour penalty for replacing his sled, he has dropped 4 positions to 13th.
La dernière fois sur la rivière, avant hier soir, une couple de chiens ils ont tombé dans des crevasses. Puis je pense qu'ils sont blessés un petit peu. So...
After a veterinary exam, Jason has to drop 2 more dogs.
Sur la rivière, on avait un paquet de loups qui nous suivaient. Je savais qu'ils étaient là parce que tout à coup, ils ont parti à 15 000 à l'heure. Puis moi, j'ai presque parti en arrière du traîneau parce qu'ils ont été tellement vite, ils ont vu les loups. Ils savaient qu'ils étaient là. Ça. Quand ils ont regardé dans les bois, j'avais mis mon headlamp puis je les ai vus dans les bois. Ça, c'était vraiment le fun.
Alan Moore reaches Circle City at 3:17 p.m. He looks forward to a rest after dealing with 20 miles of jumble ice.
Since we went through the first part and it was bad, this seemed easier. So it's just a lot of it. And it just took a long time to get anywhere when you're going like this instead of straight.
Alan has to drop a dog. It's his first one since the start of the race.
He just got a little dehydrated because he had the squirts, and he had those for 2 days, and I could not manage it, and so he probably lost a lot of fluid in those 2 days.
Alan Moore decides to take his mandatory layover in Circle City. After 6 hours, he'll be in hot pursuit of Brent Sass. On day 9, there's a dramatic turn of events. Brent Sass stopped in a tiny cabin just past Circle City checkpoint for what was supposed to be a short nap. He woke up 9 hours later.
When I took my nap, You know, I woke up and saw that I'd been there for so long. The first thing I thought about was, oh man, the world is going crazy right now.
Brent was suffering from sleep deprivation. It's a common problem in long-distance racing.
In these races, you're gonna close your eyes and maybe doze off for 10, 20 minutes at a time. You're just gonna lay on top of your sled. You're gonna have all your gear on.
Mushers expend a lot of energy and often get less than 2 hours sleep per day. This will eventually take its toll. A lack of sleep can become a musher's worst nightmare.
Notre plus grande peur, quand on est fatigué, on prend des mauvaises décisions. Les autres mocheurs qui viennent jouer sur toi parce qu'il y en a qui peuvent peut-être des fois, eux autres aussi sont fatigués puis ils peuvent avoir des confrontations entre les mocheurs.
That's a mind game, because there's a lot of human element to this race as well that you have to be wary of. There's a lot of psychological warfare going out there, and just because a person tells you a story out there doesn't mean that it's actually the truth.
Besides staying active, mushers will use any means necessary to stay awake.
You know, stimulants help, like coffee's pretty good. I had some of those energy drinks. Certainly used a lot of music, which was helpful. They got some great pop songs, so I'd often listen to them and kind of sing along and dance along on the back of the sled. That helped out immensely.
The results of sleep deprivation can be felt very differently.
T'hallucines des fois. T'entends ou tu sens des choses. T'hallucines.
You'd ride through trees and you'd think they were bridges or like structures that would give you the sense that you're getting closer to, like a checkpoint.
Some mushers develop tricks to sleep for a few minutes while still on the back of their sled. But fatigue is a fierce enemy. The previous year, Brent Sass literally lost consciousness on the back of his sled. He fell off and smashed his head on the ice, causing a concussion. Luckily, when he woke up, he was able to push the rescue button on his GPS tracker.
You know, when I got picked up finally and taken away, and my dogs were there, and the Canadian Rangers were taking care of my dogs, and then Hugh Neff came and just completely shut his race down, fed my dogs, helped take care of them. It's priceless. He could have gotten the checkpoint 3 hours earlier, but instead he stopped and took care of my dogs, which means the world to me.
Brent has learned his lesson. He now wears a helmet and tries to pace himself and his team a little better. But will his 9-hour nap cost him the race? Like the hare in the fable, Brent Sass rested too long, and now Alan Moore is hot on his heels. At the other end of the pack, teams are arriving at Eagle Checkpoint. Kristen Knight-Pace is in 15th position. The gap is still widening, and over 200 miles now separate the first from the last teams. Day 9 at 10:52, Brent Sass arrives first in Central Checkpoint. It's located just before the ultimate test, Eagle Summit. Brent only has a 2-hour lead over Alan Moore, but veterans and rookies alike cannot predict what the Yukon Quest Trail holds in store for them. There are still 150 miles before the finish line, and nobody's fate is sealed just yet. Eagle Summit is a daunting 3,624-foot ascent. Conquering this mountain presents legendary challenges for exhausted mushers and dogs alike.
Once you get to Eagle Summit, you better have a little something left in the tank, or you will be like I was in 2011. I carried every dog to the top individually. It took me 8 hours. That was difficult. And 30-mile-an-hour winds and frost bit my hand and just a lot of things. So when I try to get in shape, I think about running up Eagle Summit and getting to the top.
Eagle Summit changes shape according to Mother Nature's whims. In 2006, a fierce storm created whiteout conditions that forced a helicopter rescue of 7 teams in the race.
Alors, on n'a aucune chance de prendre la vitesse pour monter. Comme la neige, il y a beaucoup de vent, il n'y a pas d'arbres. et la neige devient dure comme une roche.
Basically like trying to climb a couple 1,000-foot chalkboard and you're just scaling up this thing.
The climb has to be done strategically.
You're gonna have your wheel dogs, which are right in front of the sled. You don't want to tax their backs and their legs too much to have them in wheel going up hills all the time. So we're gonna rotate them around as well, just to make sure they use all their different muscles in their body.
Day 9, the two leaders waste no time in Central. They begin their ascent with only 1.5 hours between them. Standing on the peak, Chris knows what awaits the Yukon Quest challengers.
This is the hell spot right here. The wall that everybody likes to talk about separates the leaders from everybody, for sure. Yeah, so this acts as a wind tunnel. Funnels in, the wind just rolls around these peaks and through these crests and troughs here, and just makes it quite the storm. Absolutely, the wind picks up. Usually, sun goes down and gets windy. It comes all around these hills here at the peaks and washes through these things and just makes conditions about as miserable as you can imagine. Absolutely the worst. Very cold, very nasty, very tough.
Damon Tetford arrives in Circle City at 6:53 p.m. in 5th position. He maintains the lead he took from Normand Cassavant. Damon dropped a dog at Slavin's Roadhouse. That leaves him with 12, which is a considerable asset at this point in the race. Like the mushers before him, Damon decides to take his mandatory stop here. Luck has smiled on Brent Sass and Alan Moore as they climbed Eagle Summit. The temperatures were mild and the ascent was easy. Brent Sass reaches mile 101 at 8:15 p.m. and decides to take a short break. Alan Moore arrives at 10:26 p.m. He decides not to rest and gains a 30-minute lead. Day 9 at 11:20 p.m., Normand Cassavant arrives in Circle City, still in 6th position.
Voilà, on a tout. On a tout, c'est bon ça? Je peux aller me camper, mon homme, là. Il a hâte en tabarnak d'aller se camper.
Jason Campeau arrives in Circle City at 3 a.m. in 8th position. His handler lets him know about the conditions of the trail.
Jason est arrivé à 3 heures avec 10 chiens. Je pense qu'il était en très bon état. Je veux dire, il avait un bon esprit. Puis il était très content de la performance qu'il a eue jusqu'à date. Il est plein repos de 6 heures ici. Ensuite, il va partir à 9 heures et en route pour continuer son trajet.
Joe is a professional chef, and he's volunteered to cook amazing meals in Circle City since 2003. He's one of the reasons so many mushers take their mandatory layover here.
Vraiment bon. Ça fait 9 heures sur le trail, so manger tout de suite, c'est vraiment, vraiment bon. Steak and eggs.
After tending to his dogs, it's Normand's turn to rest and enjoy some of Joe's food. Exhaustion has caught up with Normand after the crazy trail from Eagle.
Le juge en chef à Slaven, il dit il y a 25 000 de jambolettes. 25 000 de jambolettes. C'est incroyable. Ouais, c'était vraiment 25 000 de jambolettes. C'était des roches de glace, c'était des monuments de glace, c'était des collines. Mon Dieu Seigneur, c'était débile. Ah, à un moment donné, je montais tranquillement une petite butte, une petite colline de jambolettes. Hein. Rendu sur le dessus, moi, je vois pas tous mes chiens. Moi, je suis en bas, puis l'autre, tout le monde. Puis Pic-Bois, c'est mon wheel dog qui est juste en avant de mon traîneau. Il disparaît. Je vois plus Pic-Bois. Je prends le temps d'arrêter, je vais voir. Il était tombé dans une crevasse. Une crevasse à peu près 3-4 pieds de profond, environ par 2 pieds de large. Lui était dans le trou. Il avait tombé dans ça. Il était dans le trou. Fait que je l'ai tiré, je l'ai sorti de là. Il n'y avait pas de mal, rien. C'était beau. Mais juste pour te dire comment que c'est. C'est inimaginable. Les gens ne peuvent pas s'imaginer c'est quoi. La jambolaise. À 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 pieds de haut.
The veterinarians see early warning signs of pneumonia in one of Normand's dogs. He decides to drop it. The rest of the team is doing well, but he only has 8 dogs left. Mushers need a minimum of 6 dogs to qualify at the finish line.
Je vais être arrêté ici à Circle là, en 8-9 heures. Moi, je suis tombé dans un autre... Je suis plus en mode course. Le front pack est en mode course. Le docteur, que je l'appelle, M. Tedford, est en mode course. Moi, je suis tombé en mode défi. Comme plusieurs mâcheurs ont dit, qui ont fait cette course-là, c'est la course la plus dure qu'ils ont jamais faite. Moi, c'est ma 5e participation, c'est la plus dure que j'ai jamais faite. Il reste 2 grosses montagnes à traverser. La course n'est pas finie. Il reste les Gull Summit, puis il reste Rosebud, qui est aussi grosse. Moins à pic, mais aussi grosse. Fait qu'il y a de l'action qui s'en vient.
Alan Moore and Brent Sass duel for first place. The other 14 teams still have to face the unpredictable Eagle Summit. Will the rest of the pack make it to the finish line? Who will survive the most difficult sled dog race in the world? To be continued in the final episode of Mushers, Conquering the Yukon Quest.
Ha ha ha!